Everybody's got a price, it's the $1 million man. Podcast in demand. Understand, everybody's got a price. $1 million man. Everybody's got a price. $1 million man. Everybody's got a pod, it's the $1 million man. Podcast in demand. Understand, everybody's got a price. $1 million man. Everybody's got a price.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo, and we are back for another episode of Everybody's Got a Pod. And of course, I could never do it without the man himself, WWE Hall of Famer, the legendary $1 million man, Ted DiBiase. Ted, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, buddy. Well, I'm kind of getting over a trip. I just recently took my wife along with me, and we went to the UK. More specifically to Liverpool in England, home of the Beatles, of which I am an enormous fan. And it was really cool. I mean, the first time the Beatles were on television, they were on the Ed Sullivan Show, and I was 10 years old. And I saw them the first time they appeared in the United States on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Whoa!
Been a Beatle fan ever since. And I mean, they went through all kinds of stuff, and what is it? That old saying is shit happens.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I went to Liverpool. I went to Liverpool because I was at a Comic-Con there. And, you had a lot of fans, definitely. I mean, Marcus, I started at, I think, between 9 and 10 a.m. in the morning, and all day. I mean, it wasn't like, now the other wrestler that was there was John Cena, and they had him like upstairs somewhere. I mean, and I get that, and again, because John Cena is a more recent star, and he was like the big guy, and so that's cool, and I understand it. But Melanie would tell you, because she sat there. I mean, she got up, took a walk, and went around and did some other stuff and what have you. But all day, I mean, it was steady. There was never a moment where I was sitting at my desk or where they have you signing autographs that there wasn't somebody in front of me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and. As the $1 million man would say, very profitable.
I'm sure that your fans over there have just been dying to have you come over. It's not like here in America where you're in a different city every week. It's like maybe once, maybe twice a year that you'll get over to the UK. So
yeah, just
really cool that they got to spend time with you.
And the guys that had me over, I think there's a thing is called Monopoly events.
Yes.
And those guys are they're great. James and Andy Cleek, I mean, those guys and they host events and they host wrestlers, they host baseball players, football players, you name it, and they do a great job of taking care of you. And I don't know if any of them would see this, but I just want to say thank you very much. Took very good care of myself and Melanie. Stayed in an outstanding hotel and got to go on the what do they call it? The mystery. What do they call it?
The Magical Mystery Tour.
Yeah, the Magical Mystery Tour. We went on the tour. I mean, we went down the streets and saw where Paul McCartney and John Lennon and, Ringo Starr and George Harrison, where all those guys, where they were born, the neighborhood they basically grew up in. It's just crazy.
Man, so cool that you got to go over there and do that, and I'm sure you're looking forward to going back again.
So, well, and I know I'm a celebrity, but I don't think I'm ever going to be a celebrity to where, like, when I die, people are going to want to see where I lived.
Hey, there's going to be people in Wilcox, Arizona trying to find the house where you grew up. But yeah, man, just unbelievably cool that you got to go over there and have those experiences and spend time with your great fans. And I'm glad that you made it back safely. And I'm glad for what we're doing here this week on the show. Ted, this week marks the 35th anniversary of Survivor Series 1990 and the debut of The Undertaker there at Survivor Series. And so, man, that's our subject this week. We're going to be talking about all the happenings in the WWF during that period. And if you're ready, brother, we'll jump in.
Let's rock and roll.
All right. There's plenty to discuss, and we're going to start right here. It's the fall of 1990, and Akeem, Bad News Brown, and Rick Rude are all going to be leaving the company during this period. Rude is a pretty notable one because he was just on the main event at the prior pay-per-view, SummerSlam. So it's a really big loss for the company. Rumor has it that Rude left due to a bad payoff, or what he perceived as a bad payoff from that event, SummerSlam. Ted, did you view the loss of Rick Rude? Again, he's working the main event against the Ultimate Warrior. Do you view the loss of Rick Rude as a big one to the company during this period?
Well, I mean, it's a big loss in the sense that, anytime you lose somebody that is good enough to be in your main event, it's not a good thing.
Right.
And I had payoffs that, I thought could have been better. And even maybe now looking back should have been better. But when you quit, I don't know. There's a lot of ways to look at that.
It's burning a bridge, really.
Yeah.
Eventually Rick Rude would return, but he was done with in-ring action by that time, and he was working as a manager for DX for a while before again leaving suddenly and jumping to WCW again to join the NWO. So, it's never a good thing to burn a bridge in this industry, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
Were you close with Rick Rude at all? Like, were you friends with him outside of business?
Not in any big way. He was just like, one of the guys. How you doing, Rick? That stuff like that. So nothing huge.
Now, I mentioned Akeem there, and we've talked about Akeem before. You knew him better, of course, in Mid-South in the UWF days as One Man Gang. Do you feel like the WWF missed the boat with One Man Gang, or did they kind of get everything they could have out of the big guy? He was like such a force to be reckoned with as One Man Gang in Mid-South, and he just kind of had a mediocre run in the WWF.
Yeah, well, again, bigger company, bigger stars. So I don't know, and that's. Well, that was up to, because like when he was working in Mid-South, it's kind of like, I guess he was considered one of the top guys, but he was, it was like, the world's not going to end if he leaves.
Big fish in a small pond in Mid-South. Not quite the same thing in the WWF.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that. Well, as for you, Ted, you had been feuding with Dusty Rhodes during this period, and now the rivalry is going to take a step further. Here's what the Observer had to say. Randy Savage beat Dusty Rhodes via countout in 9:30 in the big angle of the show. Dustin Rhodes was sitting at ringside. He came out a few matches earlier when Ted DiBiase and Virgil came out and gave $100 bills to the fans sitting around Rhodes. I'm told that this wasn't a work. They actually passed out several $100s to get the fans to leave for the match. Anyway, they argued throughout the match until Dustin decked DiBiase and Ted and Virgil beat up on him. Dusty came out for the save, and Savage attacked him from behind and beat him up on a countout. After the match, DiBiase, Virgil, and Savage destroy the Rhodes clan using chairs, and Dustin bladed and got a major gusher. So you guys are really upping the ante by including Dusty's son here, Dustin, in the angle.
Yeah.
Dustin is just 21 years old at this time, and now he's involved in a major angle on the biggest wrestling program with their top heel, you. So, Ted, what were your early impressions of a young Dustin Rhodes during this time?
Great guy, great kid, great attitude. Grew another kid who grew up in the wrestling business and knew who and what to respect. It's not like he came on and said, "Hey, I'm a big shit now." Dustin came on the scene very humble, and very appreciative of where he was, and basically respected the business and respected the boys. That went a long way with me.
Absolutely. Now, I mean, are you offering him advice during this period? I know he's got his father there with him, but you're Ted DiBiase. You've been around too, and you're working with the kid. Are you offering him advice along the way, or how would that have gone?
Advice in terms of,
best practices in the ring.
I mean, if I offered him any advice, it would probably be the same advice that he was getting from his dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because we both had the same outlook on the psychology of professional wrestling. This is what it's supposed to be.
Well, it was a cool moment between you and Dustin, and a neat way to introduce him. And as a result of it, you guys are going to get into a really memorable angle. Dustin is going to issue a challenge to you after the attack. You're going to scoff at him and claim that he couldn't last 10 minutes in the ring with you. Dustin accepts your 10-minute challenge, and the stage is set for this unforgettable moment. I've got the clip right now. Let's watch it.
Whoa, the kid wasn't exactly watching where he was.
It's over right now. You can't beat him. You can't beat him.
DiBiase saying it's over right now. And Dusty Rhodes saying you can't beat him.
1 minute. 1 minute. Again, it can be a lot.
Here it comes. The $1 million dream. Dropped on young Dustin Rhodes. Nobody escapes from this hole. Give this young man credit for going as long as he did. What a gallant effort on the part of the son of Dusty Rhodes. Dustin and DiBiase put down to 30 seconds. And unfortunately, Dustin is down to his knees.
He's in trouble now. 30 seconds, 25. Come on, Dustin.
Dustin still hanging in there. The submission hold.
Come on.
Applied by DiBiase. And Dustin is going down.
9, 8.
Come on.
7.
Come on, kid. Come on, kid.
5.
Stay there. Come on.
3.
He's going to do it. He made it.
He made it. Dustin Rhodes makes it all the way.
Gentlemen, Dustin Rhodes has lusted the full 10.
Yes! He did it. Talk about guts. Dustin Rhodes. Oh, wait a minute. DiBiase clotheslining Dusty Rhodes. Just $1 million. Oh, no. What a lousy thing to do. What a this young man. Dustin Rhodes coming into the ring and going an unbelievable 10 minutes with more experience. Ted DiBiase, only to have DiBiase turn around and just clobber young Dustin Rhodes with $1 million belt.
All right, man. That was a really cool angle. And what do you remember of it?
Oh, it was great. I mean, obviously, and then that's where, after that, that's when I got into the angle with Dusty.
Yep. Yeah, kind of furthered your issue with Dusty. There you are beating up on his young son. And there's a few ways to skin this cat when you're trying to get like a young guy over like Dustin Rhodes. Like one way is have him, come out and beat an established star like yourself. In this case, they decided it was almost like a Rocky moment where it's like he doesn't win, but he lasts until the end.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of like he doesn't win, but he wins because he went the limit.
Yes.
And yeah. So that, and that's a great way because it didn't hurt me.
No.
didn't hurt me, and it helped him. It basically helped him without him actually winning the match.
I think you could argue that it was better for him than winning a match.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With what the stipulations were, it was great.
Yeah, it just shows toughness and grit from him,
Yeah.
and everybody knows he's young, so yeah, just
Absolutely.
a great angle. All right, guys, it is time to take a quick break to talk about a subject that I know is near and dear in the hearts of all men everywhere. Of course, I'm talking about your penis. So we all know that guys enter the room dick first, and that's because our penis is like one of our most important appendages, right? And it's really important that that little guy acts up when he's supposed to. I mean, we've all been there as guys, right? You're in the bedroom, your partner's ready, you're ready, but you look down there between your legs and your little guy's just down there staring at the carpet. That doesn't work for me, brother. That's why I turned to BlueChew. BlueChew isn't just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like somebody gave your little partner down there an energy drink and he's just ready to go. I mean, don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself, pal. BlueChew is going to get that thing so hard you could hammer a nail with it. You could hang a paint can off of it. You couldn't turn the head of it with a pipe wrench. There are a lot of ways to describe BlueChew's wonderful effects, but more than anything, it's about giving you confidence. Confidence is key, and if you're not feeling it, you know that your partner is not going to be feeling it either, and then nobody has a good time. Take advantage of BlueChew. It might just be giving you the best sex of your entire life, and you've been missing out on it up until this moment. Not anymore. We're hooking you up. And BlueChew is about more than just performance, too. This is also about legacy. You know that your partner is in a group chat talking about how things went or didn't go in the bedroom. Give them something to talk about. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little BlueChew. Discover your options right now at BlueChew.com. We've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of BlueChew free. Just use promo code EGAP at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join BlueChew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info, and we want to thank BlueChew for sponsoring Everybody's Got a Pod. Well, let's get to the Survivor Series. There's a lot to talk about here. It takes place on Thanksgiving Day in 1990 in front of 16,000 fans in Hartford. Ted, we've talked about it before, but man, you know, being away from your family at this time, I know you've got your kids, you've got your wife. It's Thanksgiving Day, and instead of being with your kids, you're out entertaining other people's kids. Did it ever bother you, or were you just like, yeah, it's just work. Just got to do what I got to do?
Actually, I don't think anybody was happy about having to wrestle on Thanksgiving Day.
I don't imagine.
And again, but I think what promoters found out was on big holidays and you know, you eat your turkey and then you want to go do something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Fans want to go do their thing, see their show, whatever it is, and so that's where it became knowledgeable that because I can remember having my Christmas dinner and getting in my car and driving to New Orleans, wrestle on Christmas Day.
Which, you know, at least you get to wake up with your family on Christmas, open presents, and then you're like, okay, guys, I got to go. And you go to work. Where in this case, that's not a reality for you anymore. You're with the WWF. You're traveling all over the United States. You might not have seen your family for a week. And now here it is. It's Thanksgiving and, you know, they're celebrating and you're not there. It's got to be tough.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, we did get, they weren't that bad. I mean, we got some time. We just, it's kind of like go home and you got your Christmas break, but Christmas break is over on Christmas Eve because you got to get your ass to wherever they're selling out that show on Christmas Day.
No matter how you slice it, it's not easy. But again, you're just making a living. You're just doing what you can for your family. Is what it is.
It's what it is. That's what it is.
Well, so your $1 million team is going to be here taking on Dusty Rhodes' dream team. And of course, this is a huge moment in wrestling. Ted, you had been teasing a mystery partner for your team, and he's revealed here to be the debuting Undertaker. Man, just one of the most iconic figures in the history of professional wrestling. And you're the one who gets to introduce him to the WWF audience. What do you remember about the Undertaker's debut?
Hey, it was a great thing, and, and I guess I happened to be the guy that got to introduce him. And but I'll be honest with you, I had no idea. I don't think anybody had any idea, how big the Undertaker was going to become.
No.
And then the credit goes to him, because he took the ball and he ran with it, and he did it very well. And again, because it could have been a great one-off. It could have, we do the thing and with the Undertaker, and he ends up being he was an okay guy, but he didn't really, and I guess I also introduced later the Faker Taker.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that. I want to say it was on the Survivor Series 94 episode. So go back into the archives to hear about that. It's great stuff. It is funny. I never even put that together though. First you introduced the real Undertaker, later you introduced the fake one. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, you said it. Mark took the ball and ran with it and really turned this into something, especially because on paper, objectively, if you kind of stand back and look at it, the character is cartoonish and silly. It's a huge dead guy who moves slowly and doesn't really sell. I mean, did you think that it was something that they could make work?
I didn't know. I mean, I was like, the difference was Mark.
Mm.
It's like, how can you get over if you can't move around the ring like you're supposed to move around the ring?
Right.
I guess, I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like something that most audiences would spit out. Like you're trying to sell us that this guy's a walking corpse, and he just he sits up after taking somebody's offense, and it just doesn't sound like it should work. But to Mark's credit, he's just such a talented guy that it worked, and became one of the greatest characters ever.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Well, Ted, by this.
And I want to give some credit to Vince McMahon too, because there's a lot of people who didn't think that my gimmick would get over, really.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like I had to be the $1 million man all the time, except when I was at home. And it's like, now I know Mark he didn't have to be the Undertaker all the time because he couldn't.
I don't know if his wife would have appreciated it.
But
you're right though. Vince McMahon deserves credit. He had this vision, and sometimes his vision maybe doesn't play out the way he hoped it would. I'm thinking of Terry Taylor's The Red Rooster, but in many instances it works out great.
Yeah, well, how did the Red Rooster get over?
He didn't. And Jim Duggan, it makes a good point when it comes to Terry Taylor's The Red Rooster. He says, you look at Akeem threw himself into that gimmick. He went from being one man gang to being the African dream, and it was silly, but Akeem just did it, and he put his all into it. Jim says if Terry Taylor wouldn't have done the boo-boo face, so to speak, and openly disliked the new gimmick, if he would have just thrown himself into it, Jim's like, I think he could have gotten it over. So who knows? It probably has more to do with the performer than the gimmick.
It is. Yeah, it is. I totally agree with Jim there. It's kind of like, and that's the understanding that wrestling was changing. Vince McMahon wasn't like a wrestling genius. I mean, he had to have help. He had to have He had to have people working for him, like Pat Patterson, who was one of the greatest, was his right hand man, and he was a great finish guy and all that. Could help wrestlers. I mean, helped me in some cases. And like if I had an issue or just maybe clarification about something in a match, that's who I'd go to. I'd go to Pat. What Vince was a marketing genius.
Mm-hmm.
He took wrestling, which was a territorial sport, if you want to call it that,
Mm-hmm.
and turned it into, one of the. I mean, he took wrestling. I mean, if wrestling had stayed the way it was, the territorial thing, it had died. I mean, because there were so many things coming on the scene. I mean, there's so many ways to spend your dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So many other forms of entertainment and what have you. I think it would have died on the vine. But when Vince took it and basically marketed it towards a younger audience.
Yep.
That's what he did. Teenagers, video games. You know what I'm saying?
Because it used to just be a bunch
genius.
It used to just be a bunch of dudes going out to the shows, like guys going out drinking and being rowdy and stuff. Obviously, some families would go, but by and large, it was men that were going out to watch this stuff. And now Vince is like, well, how can I make it appeal to younger audience? And he did it. Cartoonish, over the top characters. It worked.
Yeah, and it worked.
By this time, Ted, you had been in the wrestling business for a very long time, and you'd seen a lot of folks come and go. When you see The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, as a man, as a performer, as now this Undertaker character, did you see the incredible potential that he had at the time?
I can't really remember. I just know that I thought, okay, this is cool. This is very Vince, but I didn't know how long it could go.
No, I don't think anybody could have possibly guessed that it would go 30 plus years.
No. I never foresaw him being, where he's at today. I thought this could be a good one-off thing and some funny things. It's kind of like, and it's what you do with it. And he made something really, a big character out of it.
It's all about the performer and how much you invest in it. I agree. Now, the rest of your team is made up of the Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine, while Dusty's dream team is, of course, Dusty, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart, and Coco Beware. Your team is going to capture the victory here, and The Undertaker is going to look dominant before he is counted out while fighting Dusty Rhodes to the back. Meltzer is going to say that the very best part of this match happens at the end when it's down to just you and Bret Hart as the final two competitors. You're going to beat Bret when you roll through on a crossbody and score the pinfall. Ted, I know that you and Bret didn't get to work with each other very often, but when the two of you were in the ring on a handful of times, it was always magic, wasn't it?
It was always magic. And because you got two guys who grew up in the business. The wrestling business had been a part of our entire lives. And so we had respect for that. And, obviously, knew how to, knew what it required. Yeah, I was looking forward to working with him because I knew once we got in the ring, the match was going to make the difference.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
Well, that's for sure. And it proved out, man. Went on to be the world champion, like 5 or 6 times, and one of the greatest wrestlers ever by all accounts. Well, look, the debut of The Undertaker might have been pretty big, but nothing compared to the next debut we're going to see here at the Survivor Series. We talked about how, Vince McMahon, he had this great vision, and it was all about people carrying it out and doing it the right way. I don't know if there was any saving this, Ted. I'm not even going to talk about it. Let's go ahead and watch the video. Let it speak for itself. Here we go.
Sig is going to hatch here tonight. As a matter of fact, hold on. This cracks me up. I can hear it starting to creak and crack right now. Everybody has speculated as to what might be in the egg. Is it a dinosaur? Is it a rabbit? Balloons? Is it the Playmate of the Month? Who knows? Well, the way it sounds to me right now, the speculating is all over. Oh, stand back.
Oh, look at the
stand
cracks.
back. I think that egg is ready to blow.
Oh, there it is. What is it?
What in the world? Oh my God. What in the world is this?
I don't know what it is.
Take a look at it, ladies and gentlemen.
I know.
You're looking at me like
Feathers.
I don't know what it is.
A beak. A little rooster tail up on top. I don't know. They got a pair of legs like my mother-in-law, pal. Look at the feet on this thing. I can't believe, what in God's name is this? Holy. What? What is with the gobbledy? The gobbledygook. Ha! Don't tell me you're the gobbledygooker. You've got to be kidding me.
You got to be kidding me, Ted. What the hell was that?
Oh, boy.
Man, you could just hear the air kind of leave the arena in that moment when it came. You heard the boos, right? It was just a mess.
And who was it?
I'll tell you that in a minute. I just want to give the full context.
I can't remember.
So you're going to pop whenever I tell you who it was. But
I think I remember, but maybe not.
just to give full context for the listeners, this giant mysterious egg was teased for weeks on WWF TV. Who was it? That was what all anybody was talking about. The rumors were flying around that it could be Roddy Piper or maybe even Ric Flair. There was even a rumor that maybe Bruno Sammartino was going to come out of this egg. And just imagine Bruno Sammartino coming out of an egg. There's no way. But so, after working the audience into a fever pitch, this is what they delivered. Ted, the Gobbledygooker. What do you think? Good shit?
Oh man, I was like, at the time, I was like, is this shit really happening? Gosh, it was embarrassing, But okay, and who was the Gobbledygooker?
Well, let me ask you first. You said you might have a guess or might know who it was. Who did you think it was?
I think it was Eddie Guerrero.
Ah, man, really good guess. It's close. It's Hector Guerrero, his brother.
Hector.
Yeah.
Was it Hector?
It was Hector, and the plan was that he was apparently going to be not only a mascot with the WWF, but they were also going to use Hector as a wrestler at the same time. Up until this point, Hector had a really, really great career in wrestling. You had worked with him on many occasions down there in the Mid-South region. And obviously he comes from this great wrestling family. It feels like
the Guerrero family. They're all wrestlers.
Yeah, and you got Hector Guerrero here, 1990 in the WWF. I don't know. It feels like it could have been a better use for Hector, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, once you take all that shit off and get in the ring and have a match, that's where it's at, all at.
Yeah.
If he couldn't perform in the ring, then he's nothing.
Now, last thing, and then we're gonna wrap this one up. Ted, objectively, I know that we're in that age, as we've discussed here on the show. We're marketing to the younger audience, the Saturday morning cartoon crowd. To you, is this good stuff for the kids, or is this insulting the intelligence of wrestling fans?
I guess for the kids, yeah. Here's your turkey.
Happy Thanksgiving. There's the turkey.
Oh, yeah.
Hector Guerrero.
Oh gosh, and God bless him. I'm sure when they pitched this IT to him, he was going, "What?"
Until this moment, it never occurred to me that I need to do an interview with Hector Guerrero specifically so I can ask him about the Gobbledygooker and
yeah.
what that meeting looked like.
Yeah. Hector was, and Hector was a great worker.
Yes, fantastic. All the Guerreros
The Guerreros were great in ring workers. So.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Hector Guerrero come into the WWF during this period doing something else. I feel like he could have been better used.
Gobbledygooker.
It wasn't great, but this episode was great. Ted, thank you so much for all the insight and discussion this week. Boy, Survivor Series 1990, 35-year anniversary as this episode is coming out. So, man, fun to look back with you.
Absolutely, buddy. And I can't believe you can go dig all this stuff up, but you always come through, Marcus.
It's a labor of love. I love doing it.
What's next on our calendar?
The next thing that we're gonna do is actually as we're recording it today, it's the 30th anniversary of our next topic. We're going to be talking about Survivor Series 1995. So 1 week later, it'll be the anniversary plus 1 week that we'll be discussing Survivor Series 1995. Diesel drops the WWF title to Bret Hart, kind of a change of the guard there in the Fed. And you were there. You were there as the manager of the $1 Million Corporation. So it should be a fun discussion, man.
All righty. Well, but until then, I guess I want to take this opportunity to tell everybody that's watching, I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving. And I hope you get a lot of turkey or ham, whatever you like. I hope you get a lot of pecan pie.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I like.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. But with all that said, just remember this. Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
We'll see you guys next time right here on Everybody's Got a Pod.